What's up, guys? My name is Brant, and welcome to the Stanley Parable. This is probably like the third time I've recorded this video because obviously I have issues. Yeah. Um, so let's go ahead and start. The last one that I recorded was like 30 minutes long, and that's because I think I went through the door that I wasn't supposed to, and it like extended the gameplay of this game like times 4. So I don't think I'm going to do that this time just because it's a lot and it's going to get boring. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. I know the loading screen is pretty obnoxious and it takes forever. And my blinds over my window are going to fall any second now, and you're going to hear them in the background, and I'm going to have to cut until I fix it. Yep, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, maybe they didn't. They're not following it. Okay, whatever.
This
So
is the story of a
let's
man
listen to the
named
story.
Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, so I think the goal is to either listen to the guy that's speaking or not listen to him. Oh, and I just...
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever.
I guess I
will
broke
be
it.
happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell.
It's
But
funny
the one
because it
thing he
says
knew
like
for
hours
sure,
have gone
beyond
by and
any
I'm
doubt,
watching the clock
was that if he
and
waited
like
long
a second
enough,
has gone
the
by.
answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
What? Is it restarting? It's probably going to restart. Yeah, see? So it wants me to walk out. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ew, okay, I turned that off. Look,
No
all
matter
of them say the
how
end is
hard
never.
Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay, anyway, wait, I heart what? I think it says I heart Monday. Yeah, it says I heart Monday. Interesting. Actually, I do too because usually Monday is my Friday, like with my work, so that's okay. Look, there's another computer that says the end is never. Huh. Okay, let's follow the instructions until I don't want to follow instructions anymore.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's follow the door on my left. Okay, let's do it.
Yet there was not a single person here
Tips
either.
for not getting fired. Talk
Feeling
about us
a wave
do
of
unbelievably
disbelief,
amazing work all the
Stanley
time, every day
decided to
with
go
no
up to
exception
his
of
boss's office,
expectation of
hoping he might
promotion.
find an
Okay.
answer there.
Huh. How to solve a dispute with a coworker. That's so true. Like, not really, but that's so true. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Really? Okay. Anyway, let's continue.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I don't think so. We're gonna go downstairs.
But
Oh, the
Stanley
car.
just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy,
Where am I
why had
going?
he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone
Oh,
had
it's-
vanished. His
Wow,
boss would think
it's
he
a
was
circle.
crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers
What?
blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
This
None
is
of it made any
obnoxious.
logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Oh, wow.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream.
This is so
What a
weird.
relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon.
This is
I'll
weird.
have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well
What if I
enjoy
crouch
this
and go
while
through
I'm
the
still
door?
lucid. So, he imagined
What if I go
himself
backwards?
flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
This game,
Now the voice was
like,
describing
is
itself being
so
considered by
ridiculously
Stanley,
stupid.
who found
What?
it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be?
this wasn't a dream.
Was Stanley simply
But
deceiving
he just
himself?
said that it was a
Believing
dream.
that if he's
See, this
asleep,
makes
he
no
doesn't have to
sense.
take responsibility
I
for
don't,
himself?
I can't comprehend.
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been.
But if
in
I
his
have to do
life.
this one more time, I'm going to
Now,
absolutely
hearing the
go
voice speak
insane.
these words was
This is
quite a shock
ridiculous.
to Stanley.
I am literally
After
walking
all,
around in
He knew
circles.
for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he
No.
invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing
I've noticed
the
this guy
buttons.
talks too much.
Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
I can't even talk, because if I
I
talk, then I'm not
am
going to catch what he's
okay.
saying, and I'm going to be utterly confused. Really? Really?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone
It's
tell me
turning
I am
red.
real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What? You watch, it's gonna restart us again.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
What is
But
this?
on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by
Did
the
we
body
die?
of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And
We
although she
died.
would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment,
confused.
she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think
Like,
this,
literally, I
and in a
cannot
certain
talk,
way,
or
seeing
else
this
we're
man
gonna
made her
miss
feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled
the
for
story.
that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. This makes no sense. Okay, so we're... Really? Really? This, really?
All of his co-workers were
Why are there
gone.
papers
What
everywhere?
could it
This wasn't
mean?
like this before.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What? Wow. There's paper literally everywhere. Somebody better be cleaning this up, because, like,
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's see. Okay, so the papers are gone. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Anyway, let's go back.
Yet there was not a single
see.
person here either. Feeling a
Just for not
wave of
getting fired.
disbelief, Stanley
Don't
decided
get fired.
to go up to his boss's office, hoping he
That's
might
right.
find an answer there.
Let's go back
Coming
downstairs
to a
just to, like,
staircase,
mess with the
Stanley
guy.
walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the
If
possibility
we do this
of
one more
facing his
time,
boss,
I'm probably
admitting
going
he
to
had
end
left his
and be
post
like, you know
during
what,
work hours. He
we'll
might be
find a
fired
different
for
game
that.
for us to,
And in
like,
such a
not get messed up
competitive
with.
economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically?
Okay, so it looks like
Brant? And for that matter,
it's going to
these
do this
rooms
all
were
over
starting to
again.
look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeated? No, Stanley said to himself. This is
So,
all too
I think we're going to go ahead and end it here, and
at last, he came to the conclusion
if you like the video, a
that
rating would be much appreciated. I highly doubt that there is going to be another Stanley Parable video on this channel. I will be uploading another video over the course of the next week, describing what else is going to be on the channel. We're not just going to, or I'm just not going to do games. I'm going to have a few friends, and we're going to do quite a few different things, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And until next time, have a good one.